This is it. The final Cowabunga and Calvacade video and the final Ninja Turtles video as of right now. Might as well go out with a huge bang, right? What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Animation Station, your number one stop destination for anything and everything animation. And welcome to the final Ninja Turtles video of Cowabunga and Calvacade and the final Ninja Turtle video overall, unless I end up getting merch or something. So, yep, no script for this one. I'm just gonna read them off this piece of paper I have sitting here on my desk and talk a little bit about them in general. I'm not going super in-depth about it. So, yep, this is all 14 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie and specials ranked from worst to best. Let's begin. If Facebook can shut its pie hole. Hold on, give me 1 second. No, I can't. Whatever. Forgot to turn my Do Not Disturb on again. Stupid me. Anywho, let's not waste any time and begin. Starting off with the worst of the bunch, the absolute worst of the movies and specials overall, and honestly probably one of the worst animated movies I've seen in a long time, Rise of the TMNT, the movie. This had the opportunity to try and fix all the problems that plagued the crappy series, but instead it doubled down on those and arguably made it even worse. Like, it's not fun, the jokes still suck, and what they did to Casey was unforgivable. So, yeah, screw this piece of garbage. You want a more in-depth reason of why I hate this movie so much? Go watch my worst movies of 2022 list, where I gave it a good thrashing. So, yeah. Screw that movie, it's a piece of crap, and screw that whole era, okay? Screw Rise, it's a piece of garbage. Coming up next, set number 13 is going to be Coming Out of Our Shells. For those of you that don't know what this is a VHS tape that recorded and did a behind-the-scenes look of this rock band tour that the Turtles did because they were so huge and popular back in the 80s and 90s. And this VHS tape was supposed to be kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at how everything works. But instead, they treat the Turtles like they're real, and thus, you can't take it seriously. Not to mention, all of the jokes are bad, and the voices of the Turtles are absolutely abysmal. Don't even get me started on those awful costumes, just what? Piece of garbage costumes, seriously. I don't know who made those, but yeah, they're bad. They are very bad. And the songs themselves suck. I don't really know what else to say. Nostalgia Critic and AVGN already gave it a good thrashing in their review, so I'm mainly just putting this here so I don't have to talk about it again. So, yep, that is going to be number 13, Coming Out of Our Shells tour, and coming up not too far above that at number 12 is going to be its sequel, We Wish You a Turtle Christmas. Yes, this is a sequel to that, even though the costumes are a little different. Arguably even worse. So why does this one rank above the first one? Simple. It's because this one is an actual story, and it's not a behind-the-scenes thing that treats the Turtles like they're real. Here it tries to make a sort of TV movie out of it, with the Turtles trying to get a gift for Splinter for Christmas. And then there's still crappy songs and crappy jokes, but, I mean, it's at least competent, so it gets up there a little bit, but not by much. It's still bad. It's just not as bad because it's an actual story and not a mockumentary. So, yeah. They're both pieces of garbage, so it really doesn't matter. But the point is, this is 12, and Coming Out of Our Shells is 13. Moving on. Next up at number 11, we have the second worst Ninja Turtles movie, at least in my personal opinion, and that is going to be TMNT Out of the Shadows. This is a movie that promised so much, yet gave so little. Bebop and Rocksteady, Krang, Technodrome, all the Turtles things that we wanted, and it felt like the producers were listening to the feedback they were getting from the other movies, but instead, they're just here to be fan service and don't have any character, and the jokes suck, and the writing's even worse. Not to mention, They absolutely destroyed Leonardo's character, making him one of the most unlikable douches I've seen in movies. So, I mean, yes, it's not Johnny Knoxville voicing it, thankfully, but it's still not good. And it's still a Michael Bay movie, and you get what you get with those. So. Yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot for the 2014 one because I do have such nostalgia attached to it. But with this, I didn't see it until like 2 years after it came out, and even then, I thought it was a below average turd. So, yep, just throw it in the sewage. It's not worth keeping around. It's a piece of crap. Moving on. Speaking of pieces of crap, let's talk about the barely average piece of mediocrity and the insulting TV finale that is Turtles Forever at number 10. Oh, I hate this movie, but I can't say it's below average. But it really does tick me off almost every time I see it because they treat the 80s Turtles like idiots. The '03 Turtles are treated like overconfident douchebags. The story is bad, and the ending just barely saves it. Like it is bad. It feels like an insulting parody of the '87 Turtles rather than being the actual '87 Turtles. And I understand why they couldn't get the actual voice actors to come back, stupid union garbage, but it's still just not very good. Like it has its fans, and it may be fun to watch if you don't look at it critically, but me, as someone who does enjoy the '87 Turtles as well as adores those other three Turtles, I hate this interpretation of both of them. They both ticked me off almost their entire runtime, and I just wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of this movie, and I never will be. It's a painfully average movie that I hate with every fiber of my soul. So, yeah, that's why it's number 10. And the only reason it's not higher is because it's actually competent. Speaking of barely competent, ninth goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. Yes, it's not bottom of the list. I know. A lot of you are probably so shocked. But if you saw my review, you would understand my reasoning. Yes, this movie, if you look at it critically, is a piece of crap. Yes. But here's the thing. Sometimes it slips into the so bad it's good category with the cringy jokes and just its overall cheaply made bizarreness that I can't be that hard on it. Yes, it is a piece of crap, and I'm not going to try to defend it in any way, but I've definitely seen way worse. I mean, look at the other entries on this list. Like, I've seen way worse than Turtles 3, and honestly, I don't mind rewatching it, and I am glad that I do have the original VHS tape, but I'm just not. I'm not going to go out of my way to defend it, is all I'm saying. I can understand the people that hate it, but me personally, it's okay. It's fine. It's passable, mediocre filler noise. So, I mean, if you are one of those people that hates it with burning passion, I entirely understand your reasoning, but there's much worse turtle stuff out there, guys. So, yeah, the hate's a little overblown, but I can understand why people don't like it. Me, it's just average, and I get some ironic enjoyment out of it, laughing at the crappy jokes. So, yeah. That is why that is number 9 on the list. 8th goes to TMNT 2014, the only one of the 2 Michael Bay movies that I will actually go out of my way to defend, because, yes, this movie has a lot of problems, but I still have a lot of fun with it. I have fond memories of it. Shell Shocked is still a banger that I listen to all the time. And I do enjoy some aspects of it. I do think that it's watchable. It's watchable, one and done, decent film. And compared to what we were going to get originally with, the whole turtles being aliens from space crap, yeah, this is way better than that in every single way. Yes, I hate Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo, but I can get around that pretty quickly because the rest of it's fun. Not to mention the elevator scene. So, it's propped up by the elevator scene and some good action. That's about it. Aside of that, it's barely average to just a little above. I have fun with this movie, but it is very much a guilty pleasure out of nostalgia. So, yep, that is why 2014 ranks here. Moving on to number 7, now we're into the actual good stuff now. Let's start with what is probably the most surprising out of all these watches that I had this month, and that is TMNT Half Shell Heroes Blast to the Past. Like, I mean, I didn't know what to expect out of this. Like, it's a, it's a, it's a little special based on the 2012 show, made for little kids to sell more toys. I didn't exactly know what I was supposed to expect going into it. But I came out the other side surprisingly really enjoying it. Like, it's fun, it's fast paced, it's short, it's to the point, it's really funny. And it's the 2012 cast still doing a great job, you know. Seth Green's Leonardo, Greg Sipes' Michelangelo, Sean Ashton's Raphael, Rob Paulson's Donatello, and then Bebop and Rocksteady. Like, it's still the 2012 cast doing what they do best, and I was really impressed by the very well done, if low budget, 2D animation. So, yeah, that was cool. I also liked their interactions with the actual dinosaurs in the world. I feel like the way that they actually ended up going into the past was actually really clever and well written. After all, this is the exact same crew of TMNT 2012, just writing for a younger audience and much more restrictions. Like, they can't show zombies or stuff like that. And I do really like the ending, where it feels like they ended up in the wrong timeline, and the little billboard signs on the city as they land are direct homages to the horror movie They Live. If you throw a horror movie reference in anything, you automatically have my admiration. So, yeah, this was cool. Not to mention, as I also stated in my review, I really liked these prehistoric designs of the turtles. Leonardo especially having these giant stone katana blades. Like, it was so cool and so interesting. It was way better than I ever thought it was going to be. I went into expecting, like, okay, it's probably going to be at the best decent, or at worst absolutely terrible. But I came out the other side really happy with it, and for only $6 for the DVD that I paid for to watch it, yeah, it's worth it, and I'm glad it's now in my Turtles display. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of this one. I'm surprised about how well it turned out, and now I kind of want to hunt down those old toys just for the heck of it. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and I recommend that you guys give it a watch if you haven't already. It's only $6 on the Amazon to get the DVD, and I'm pretty sure you can find it free on YouTube if you know where to look. So, yeah, give this one a watch. It just might surprise you, just like it surprised me. A very good, very solid special that's short, sweet, fun, hilarious, and straight to the point. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. I had a lot of fun with this movie when I first saw it, and even watching it now, while it's nowhere near the caliber of the first movie, it's still a lot of fun to watch. I like Taka and Razar, I like the comedy, I like how it continues right after the first. I liked Kino as a side character, even though he's no Casey Jones. Paige Turco does an okay job as April, as a replacement for Judith Hogue. I thought Shredder coming back was cool. Super Shredder was sick, even though we barely saw any of him because he does himself in, which, yeah, lousy ending. And some of the jokes are hit and miss, and it's definitely a lot more kid-friendly because of all the parents complaining non-stop about the first movie being too adult, which is arguably what made it so good in the first place. But this one is still a lot of fun. I still enjoy watching it. And yes, it's goofy and silly, but it works in its own unique, separate sort of way. So, yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I have a lot of fun with it. But I can understand if some people aren't into the goofiness in comparison to the really well done adult maturity of the first movie, which don't worry, we'll talk about later on this list. But I really enjoy Secret of the Ooze. It's a lot of fun. It's just not great cinema. I think the best way to describe it is the way that Sean Chandler describes it, a Taco Bell movie. A movie that's really good fast food, but it's not anything, that spectacular. So, yeah, it's still an awesome movie. I have a lot of fun with it. And rest in peace to the guy who played Professor Perry. He did a good job as well. So, yeah, I enjoy Secret of the Ooze. It's just not high art or anything like that. So, that's number 6. Coming in at number 5, let's get controversial, because I know a lot of people put this way lower on the list, but I have nostalgia for this movie. I've always loved this movie, and despite its problems and flaws, I always have a great time watching it, and that is going to be TMNT 2007. This is what made me into a Turtles fan. Like, yes, I was introduced by the '03 show running on Jetix, but the movie is what got me 100% into the series. Like, I loved this movie as a kid. It was the first movie I ever got to see in theaters that was Turtles related. I had that DVD on loop. I had a bunch of the toys. I played the PC game a ton. Like, I literally just re-downloaded it, and I hope to play it on stream sometime. Like, I have so much fun with this movie. Like, yes, Leonardo being a hypocrite is a huge problem. And yes, the ending and the whole story is very hit and miss, especially when compared to how interesting and well done the concepts sounded on paper. But what makes this movie really interesting is the great character arcs they have with all the turtles. Like having this more domesticated side to them and having them, you know, not really sure what to do after they defeat Shredder. And it gives like this whole new different dimension and dynamics to all their characters. Even Casey and April get a new dynamic, and I really enjoy it, even though I, again, was very disappointed by Chris Evans' voice, because I feel like he could have done so much better. I mean, look how well he did as Captain America. Just saying. So, yeah, it's not a great... Well, I think it's a great movie, but I can understand why most people don't like it. But I have always loved this movie. I will always have a special place in my heart for this movie, and I am so glad that I have the DVD to watch over and over again, as well as the PC game and all the fond memories of my childhood. So, yeah. It's probably up here mostly because of nostalgia, but I love TMNT 2007, and I will go out of my way to actively defend it any day of the week. So, yeah. Number 5 is TMNT 2007. I don't care how controversial it is, it's my opinion, deal with it. Coming in at number 4, this may technically be cheating because it's a normal 22-minute episode, but I'm treating it like a special because it's a crossover. Number 4 goes to TMNT 2012 Trans-Dimensional Turtles. Yes, I know you're saying, what about Wanted, Bebop, and Rocksteady? Doesn't that technically count? No, that was a 3-part arc. That wasn't really a movie. And it wasn't really a special either, so it doesn't really count for either part on this list. But I am going to make a special exception for Trans-Dimensional Turtles, because it's literally Turtles Forever if it wasn't crap. Like, this is a fantastic episode, one of my favorites of 2012, and a great crossover. They got the original voice cast back, we got to see both teams in their respective 2D and 3D animation, we got great voice acting, we got great character arcs, we got a lot of great references and in-jokes for both franchises, a really good ending, some great funny running gags. It's just a blast to watch. If you're a Turtles fan, this is a definite must-watch. And if you haven't watched the 2012 series yet, this is a good launch pad. See how you like this crossover, and if you like it, watch the rest of this amazing show, and even if you don't like it, watch the show anyway. It's literally the best Turtles cartoon we've gotten to date, so... Yeah, Trans-Dimensional Turtles, it may technically be breaking the rules, but I don't care. I needed to get something in here to cleanse the palate and give us a good TMNT crossover, unlike that piece of crap Turtles Forever. So, yeah. This is number 4 on the list, and rightfully so. Alright, I don't need to look anymore because I remember the rest off the top of my head, because I have the exact same number 3 as most of my friends. Well, top 3 as most of my friends. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a movie that literally came out of nowhere. I was a huge fan of the comic book crossover between these two, and I still have the first issue comic, which is somewhere over there on my shelf, but I'm not going to pull it out right now because it's already almost a 20-minute video. I had a lot of fun with this movie when I first watched it. Heck, it was my favorite movie of 2019. Yes, over Spider-Man Far From Home and Avengers Endgame. Fight me, and I still love this movie. I literally have rewatched it a dozen times. I've only liked it more each time. I've caught more references, I've caught more nods and Easter eggs, and as I went on and on about in my review, I just love the dynamic between these two teams and the way they were able to cross over so well while also having references and also playful little jabs at one another, like Gotham City having blimps, or the Turtles cruising around in the giant van. Like, It's so good. The writing's so good, and not only that, this is the most adult and mature Turtles that we've ever gotten, even more than the '90s movie. However, I feel like the '90s movie is a bit more focused, whereas this is a bit more all over the place. And here it kind of works, but at the same time, it's also what keeps it from being higher on the list. I really, really enjoy Batman vs. TMNT, from the voice cast to the story to the action to the animation. The animation's so good here, my goodness. It's just a lot of fun, and it's easily among my favorite movies in the DC Universe pantheon and the Ninja Turtles. It is a fantastic crossover, but like I also stated in my review, it's also held back by the fact that it's not very faithful to its source material, making so many different changes from the original comic book arc that it's almost unrecognizable as the exact same thing. But it works in its own unique way, and if you take it as its own movie instead of being an adaptation of a comic book, then I feel like you're going to enjoy this movie a lot more. This movie is a freaking blast. Batman fans are going to love it. TMNT fans are going to love it. Animation fans and comic book fans in general are going to love it. It's just a fantastic movie, and if you for some reason haven't watched it yet, despite the fact that it's been out for 4 years, go watch it right now. I cannot recommend it highly enough. And man, do I wish the toys that were based on this crossover weren't $100 a piece, because I would have loved to get some of them. But who knows? Maybe I'll find a bargain one day. We'll wait and see. So, yep, that is Batman vs. TMNT at number 3. Okay, time to get controversial, because these top 2 placements may or may not tick off a few people. But like I said before, it's my opinion, and if you feel differently, that's perfectly okay. Coming in next at number 2 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990. Yes, the original movie has been topped. And trust me, it was not by much. Like, it was so hard to decide between these top 2. Like, I love both of these movies so much for many different reasons. And the 90s movie has a very special place in my heart. It's one of the best comic book films ever made. It's a great action movie. It's a great comic book movie. It's a fantastic TMNT movie. And it does a great job adapting comic book storylines, but also being its own unique thing. Also having a dark edge, a nice sense of humor, great voice acting, great settings, amazing suits from Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Like, I could go on and on about this movie, but I already gave it like its own, 30-40 minute long review, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But point is, this movie is just as awesome as you heard, and even all these years later, it still holds up surprisingly well. Absolutely check it out if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, and if you want a more in-depth analysis on this movie, go watch my review. So yep, that's number 2, TMNT 1990. Yep, you know what that means. That means that it's time to get a little controversial, because yes, you can call this recency bias, you can call this first watch an adoration or whatever, but this movie delivered on everything I wanted and more, and it managed to actually not only top the 1990 movie, but also possibly be my favorite movie of the entire year of 2023. Number 1 is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Like, oh my god, I love this movie so much. Like, the voice acting, the story, the characters, oh my freaking goodness, the animation's so good. The action, the writing, the references, the characters, the designs, the ending, the whole, wanting to fit in kind of thing, and especially because this movie did something that we sadly do not get very often in Ninja Turtle movies or specials. Leonardo gets to be the focus, and here he really just delivers. And Nicholas Cantu, yes, Gumball, does an amazing job as his voice. I already love him, and it shocks me that he's a complete newcomer to the series, because I could have swore from his voice acting here that he sounds like a seasoned die-hard fan, but instead he's completely new to the franchise, and yet he delivered 110%. Like, I love his voice performance in this movie, and he is one of my favorite Leos. And then all the other Turtles are great. I love Jackie Chan as Splinter. I really enjoyed Ice Cube as Superfly, and I feel like Superfly is a great new villain. The post-credits scene teasing certain someone, I'm not going to say who, is great. I love this version of April O'Neil. It's very unique and different, while also standing out in her own unique way. Ayla Edebari did such an amazing job with the voice acting. I love her relationship and friendship with the turtles, and especially her interactions with Leonardo, which are just great. And while this movie is definitely very modern, it's done in a way where it's actually funny and it's not spine cracking levels of cringe. Like, yes, there are references in here, yes, there's product placement, but it's not done in a way that feels forced. It's done in a way to either sell a joke, like in Sonic movie, or as just a little offside thing. Like, Raphael referencing Drake and how he's the GOAT, or the Go-Gurt joke in the first clip, which is not a spoiler, the clip got released before the movie. And of course, Splinter and his bias with humans and realizing that maybe he shouldn't keep his son so sheltered from the other world, and the action is great. The final act is fantastic. Like, this is, in my opinion, a perfect movie. Even 2 watches later, I have never stopped loving this movie, and while it was tough to choose my favorite movie of the year between this and Miraculous, I feel like this is my #1 movie of the year for now. It may or may not get topped. We still have a few other movies to go, but it's going to take a masterpiece to really come close to topping it, as it's the second movie that ever has broken my rating scale to the point of 12 out of 10. So, yeah, I adore Mutant Mayhem. I'm ticked that it didn't make more money yet, but hopefully it can make more money soon from the good word of mouth and from my review. So, yeah, I love Mutant Mayhem. In my opinion, it is the best Ninja Turtles movie we've gotten to date, and I cannot thank the cast and crew enough for putting in so much love, passion, time, and effort and creativity into every single frame. It was worth the long wait, and now we have a great new generation of Turtles for this awesome new generation to grow up with. So, yeah, it's great for newcomers, it's great for old fans, and it's just an amazing animated film in general. I can understand why it may not be everybody's thing because, again, it is very modern, but I feel like it does it in a way where it makes sense and it's actually very well done. So, yeah, I really enjoy Mutant Mayhem. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and I highly recommend you go see it if you haven't yet. It is, in my opinion, the #1 best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie and or special that we've ever gotten, and it's going to take a while before anything tops it. Well, that's the list, and it's been almost half an hour, damn. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Animation Station. Thank you so much for watching all of these Ninja Turtle videos and all these videos in general. Thank you for almost getting me to almost 700 subscribers. It really means a lot that you guys enjoy my content so much. And I only hope to keep giving you guys great content for many years to come. I've had an amazing time with all of you guys, and I only hope that it's going to keep getting better as the years go on. So, yeah. And like I said, this is the last video you're getting from me until August 16th when I review Monkey King. But until then, this is goodbye for now. Because I'm going to take a hiatus in August for the rest of this August, to catch up on Dragon Ball. Because, yeah, Super Saiyan Timber is going to be our theme month for next month. And I'm super excited, I'm super pumped to finally talk about Dragon Ball Z. I am a huge fan of the anime. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and I've been waiting years to talk about it. And since, unfortunately, my whole plan got screwed up the first time, this time I'm going all out. We're reviewing all the movies and every saga, except for Dragon Ball Evolution, because it's the worst thing ever made, and I don't want to end up, screaming for 5 hours straight. And also, I'm not reviewing Dragon Ball GT, because I want to keep my sanity. So, yeah. Also, no Dragon Ball games. I feel like I need to wait a while before I start doing game reviews and stuff like that, because I still need to figure out the formatting. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next time we meet, Cowabunga, have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.